What's going on, math students? Mr. Vardak, 7th grade math, Mission Junior High School. This is homework 3.3. I'm going to be going through and working out most, if not all, the problems on homework 3.3, posting this video so you guys can have access and check your work and then bring it into class complete. So if you have any other questions, then you can ask me in class, but let's go ahead and get started, see how much we can get done. Okay, number one, what is the value of negative 12 minus negative 35? Okay, so let's rewrite the problem here. I have negative 12 minus negative 35. Okay, it looks like I've got integers, right? I've got some negative numbers, and I've got the subtraction sign. So I know when we do subtraction sign, there's always a strategy that we like to do. The strategy is called keep, change, change. Okay, now keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip is for dividing fractions, but keep, change, change. That's going to help us here. So what this means is I'm going to keep the negative 12. I'm going to change the subtraction sign to addition. And then I'm going to change the negative 35 into positive 35. The reason I'm doing this is because I know when I see the subtraction sign taking away from a negative, it's kind of hard to do in my head or on a number line. So if I do the opposite, it's going to make the problem a little bit easier. Now I've got negative 12 and I have positive 35. Well, this is also saying I have positive 35 and I'm taking away 12. Or if I went to a number line, I would go all the way over to negative 12, then I'd have to go all the way back to positive 35. So when I do this subtraction problem, 35 minus 12, I should get positive 23. And that's my answer for number one, positive 23. Let's go on. Okay, number two, Briana played a trivia game in which she lost 5 points for each incorrect answer and gained 10 points for each correct answer. If Briana answered 15 questions correctly and 10 questions incorrectly, what was her total score? Now there's some things I like to do with problems that help me figure them out, right? I underline important information. So 5 points for each incorrect answer, 10 points for each correct answer, and she answered 15 correctly and 10 incorrectly. So let's go ahead and see if we can figure it out. So I'm going to write all my information down. So I know she gets 10 points for each correct answer. So I'm going to put a C over here for 10. Okay, and then for each incorrect answer, she gets, she lost 5 points. So I'm going to put negative 5 right here. Okay. Now it says she answered 15 questions correctly. So I'm going to take this 10 times 15. 10 times 15 gives me 150. Okay. And she answered 10 incorrectly. So now I have a negative times a positive. Negative times a positive gives me a negative. Okay. So I know for sure here my answer is going to be negative. 5 times 10 is 50. I'll put the 50 right here. Now, the question says what was her total score? So for me to figure out her total score, I can just take the 150 and subtract the points that she lost for making them incorrect. So if we do that, it looks like our answer is going to be 100 minus 150 minus 50 gives me a total score of 100 points. Okay, so it looks like for that trivia game, Briana earned 100 points. Okay, moving right along. Question number 3. Each year a store decreased the price of a certain model of TV by $38. If the price in 2001 was $1,975, what was the price in 2009? Okay, kind of a tricky question. Let's see if we can figure it out. So let's see how many years elapsed from 2001 to 2009. Okay, it looks like it's going to be 8 years, right? From 1 to year 9, that looks like it's going to be 8 years. So I know each year for 8 years the price went down, decreased $38. So let's try and find the total amount that the TV decreased in those years. So I'm going to take the 8 years times the amount it decreased each year, which was $38. Okay, so let's work it out over here. 38 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Carry the 6. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus 6 is 30. So I have right now the total amount that TV decreased, which went down, was $304. Okay, now let's see if it says what was the price in 2009. So I'm thinking if I take my total price, which we started with, which is $1,975, and I subtract the amount that it's decreased over the years, $304, it should give me my answer. Okay, 5 minus 4 is 1, 7 minus 0 is 7, 19 or 9 minus 3 is 6, and then I bring down my 1. So it looks like the price in 2009 was $1,671. That's 2009 price. Okay, cool. Looks like we worked our way through that problem. We got the years, multiplied, subtracted from the total. Very good. Okay, moving right along. Okay, question number 4. What is the value of negative 5 2/3 divided by 3/8? Okay, looks like I have some rational number operation problems, so let's see if we can figure it out. Divided by 3/8. Okay, now I know when I'm dividing fractions, mixed numbers, the first thing I have to do is change the mixed number into an improper fraction, so my field can be level, because right now I have a whole number here, but it's kind of hard to divide my whole number and fraction by another fraction. So let's turn this here into a mixed number, or excuse me, into an improper fraction. So the way I do it, I multiply here, and then I'm going to add up here. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. So I have 17. And what do I do with my denominator? I keep the same denominator from right here, 17/3. Now there's one thing I don't want to forget to bring down, and that's the negative sign. So negative. Okay. Now I bring my division sign and 3/8. So right now I have my division problem for fractions. One's improper, the other one's proper. Now I know this is dividing fractions, so we have a strategy. Our strategy is called keep, change, flip. Okay, so I keep the negative 17/3 right over here, 17/3. I change the division sign to multiplication, and I flip or get the reciprocal of 3/8. Okay, that means I'm going to put the 8 on top and then the 3 on bottom. Okay, now for me to solve this problem right here, this fraction operation problem, multiplication problem, I just multiply across. Okay, so let's do the top. 17 times 8. 17 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry the 5. 1 times 8 is 8. Plus 5 is 13. 136. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Now, this is an improper fraction. In my answer, I can't leave it improper. I do need to change it. Okay, so I have 17 times 8, that's 136. And now, I'm going to go ahead and, so we have 136 over 9. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide. Do numerator and denominator out. So I have 136 on the inside, 9 over here. I'm going to change my color real quick. Okay, so I know if I take 9 goes into 13 one time, I have 4 left over. I bring down my 6. Okay, 9 goes into 46 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45. I have 1 left over. Now, I'm going to write this as a fraction so I don't have to keep going. I already have everything that I need. I've got my whole number, which ends up becoming my whole number here. I have my numerator, which is down here. I like to label it like this, numerator. This becomes the denominator, and this is the whole number. So we have a mixed number. 15 My numerator is 1. My denominator is 9. 15 and 1/9. Okay, if I circle it, that is my answer, 15 and 1/9. So it looks like we did a few steps. We did keep, change, flip. First we changed the mixed number here to improper. Did keep, change, flip. We multiplied across. We got our 136 over 9. Then we did numerator in, denominator out. So quite a few steps. But it looks like we got our answer. Okay, going to number 5. Okay, to which set or sets does the number belong? 4,500 belong to. Okay, 4,500. Now, we have all these categories here. Integers only, rational numbers only, integers and rational numbers only, whole numbers, integers, and rational numbers. Well, first things first, I know 4,500 is a whole number, right? Because I can count it. It comes after a number. The number that comes before it would be 4,499. The number after it would be 4,501, right? If I was counting. 4,499, 4,500, 4,501. So I know for sure it's an integer. And then, if you remember, I know that a whole number for sure is an integer. I also know integers are what we call rational numbers. That means I can take this number and I can turn it into a fraction, and I can also turn it into a decimal. Okay, and I can go vice versa, back and forth. So that means the number 4,500 is an integer. It's also a rational number, and it's a whole number. So the category I would circle would be this one right here. Whole number, integer, and rational number. Okay, very good. Moving on. Cookies. This stuff is cookies, guys. Haha, cookies. Alright. Number 6. Benjamin had $928 in his bank account on Monday. On Tuesday, he wrote 5 checks for $18.75 each. On Wednesday, he made 3 deposits of $62.50 each. How much money was in his account after the checks and deposits cleared? Okay. Cleared just means that all the transactions were completed. Okay, so it looks like he started with $928. So I'm going to write that down. Started with $928. Okay, and that was on Monday. On Tuesday, it looks like he wrote 5 checks for $18.75 each. Okay, so I'm going to work that out over here. It looks like he would 5 checks, $18.75 each, and he wrote 5 of them. So let's see if we can get the total. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 7 times 5 is 35 plus 2, 37. Carry the 3. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 plus 3 is 43. Carry the 4. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. So it looks like I have 2 numbers over here behind the decimal, so I'll move the decimal 1, 2. So it looks like on Tuesday, he wrote 5 checks, and that's going to be a minus. Okay, because when I write a check, the money goes out from my account. So that's minus $93.75. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out what happened on Wednesday. On Wednesday, it looks like he made 3 deposits of $62.50. Okay, so a deposit is money that I add. So I'm going to work that out over here. So $62.50, and it was 3 deposits, so I'm going to multiply that times 3. Okay, 0, 5, carry the 1, 15, carry the 1, 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7, 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, 2 numbers after the decimal point, so I have to move it 1, 2. So it looks like on Wednesday he had a plus of $187.50, because when I make deposits, I'm putting that money into my account. So it says how much money was in his account after the checks and deposits cleared. Okay, so we can do this multiple ways. I can subtract the Tuesday first, then add Wednesday. I can add Wednesday and subtract Tuesday, however. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the Wednesday first, and then I'll subtract my Tuesday. Okay, so I'm going to take $928 plus $187.50. I know I've got placeholders up here. This looks like 50 cents. 8 plus 7 is 15. Carry the 1. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So after adding Wednesday, I should have $1,115.50. Okay, now I'm going to subtract my Tuesday minus $93.75. Okay, so I'll cross this out. Alright, let's see if we can work this out to get our final total. We'll change the color. Let's use green. Okay. Okay, so I know I can't take away from 5 away from 0, so I have to borrow. This becomes a 4, and this 0 becomes 10. Okay, 10 minus 5 is 5. I can't take away 7 from 4, so again I have to borrow over here. This 5 becomes 4. This becomes 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. Bring down my dot, my decimal place. 4 minus 3 is 1. And now I have this trickiness right over here, right? So I can't take away 9 from 1, so I have to borrow here. This becomes a 0, and the 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 9 is 2. I bring down 0 minus nothing here, it's going to be 0. And then I bring down the 1. So it looks like he ended up with $1,021.75 after he wrote the checks, took away his $93.75, and then he added his $187.50. So it looks like overall he added about $90-something, which is, looks like our answer is correct. Okay, very good. Moving on. Number 7. Okay, number 7. Jake's family is moving into a new home. They packed 22 boxes in 1 5/6 hours. What is the average number of boxes they packed per hour? Okay, so average. I know average is going to tell me something. It's going to tell me I need to divide. Okay, so we're going to take the amount of boxes they had, 22, and we're going to divide that by how many hours they used, 1 5/6 hours. Now, a couple of things. First thing I need to know is I can't have a mixed number here. I've got to change it into an improper fraction. So let's go ahead and work that out. So I take 1 times 6 is 6. 6 plus 5 gives me 11. So this changes into 11/6. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the division sign and go ahead and bring down my 22. Now, also when I divide using a whole number, I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 underneath because that holds the value by still making it a fraction, right? Just 22 divided by 1 is still 22. And so I have the same value, but it just looks like a fraction. And that's what I need to do. Okay, now we got to use our strategy we did before, which is keep, change, flip. Okay, so I'm going to write it over here. So I'm going to have 22 over 1, which we kept, change the division sign to multiplication, and then use the reciprocal. So 11 over 6 becomes 6 over 11. Okay, now we multiply it across. Okay. Alright, 22 times 6. So let's work that out really quickly. Well, there's another way I could do it too. I'll show you at the end. 22 times 6. Okay, and 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13. So it looks like on top I have 132. Okay, 1 times 11 is 11. Okay, now it looks like I have 132 divided by 11. So I need to solve that, and that should give me my answer. Okay, now if you know your times tables, then that should be an easy question. But I may not know it so well, so let's go ahead and work it out. Okay, so 11 goes into 13 one time. 1 times 11 is 11. 13 minus 11 is 2. I bring down this 2, and I know that 11 goes into 22 2 times. This ends up being 0. Okay, so my answer is going to be what was the average number of boxes they packed per hour? They packed 12 boxes per hour. Okay. Now, the other way I could have done this is I could have cross-simplified here, which means I know 22 and 11 have numbers in common. They both have 11. 22 divided by 11 is 2, and then 11 divided by 11 is 1. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. 12 divided by 1, 12. Gives me the same answer. Okay, but looks like we got it. We're moving on. Okay, on number 8, on a certain day, the temperature in Seattle, Washington was -9 degrees Celsius. The temperature in Houston was 25 degrees Celsius. How many degrees lower was the temperature in Seattle? So I'm trying to find the difference between 25 degrees and -9 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's see if we can find the difference between -9 and +25. So you're right, I have -9, difference means subtract, and then I have 25 degrees. Okay, looks like I'm subtracting integers again. So again, we have a strategy. Strategy is called keep, change, change. Okay, keep the -9. The subtraction sign changes to addition, and now this is +35. It's going to change into, +25 is going to change into -25. Okay, now I've got some rules when the signs are the same. If the signs are the same, I can just add the numbers. 25 plus 9. That's going to give me 34. And since they're both negative, I just keep the sign. So it's going to be -34. -34 degrees. Okay, so we did KCC, got the same sign, added the numbers because they have the same sign, add them, get 34, and keep the sign, -34. Okay, moving right along. Alright, number 9. A jug of orange juice contains 40 and 75 hundredths fluid ounces. It is shared equally among 5 people. How many ounces of orange juice does each person receive? Okay, so it looks like I'm going to be splitting up the jug of juice between 5 people. Okay, the jug of juice is 40 and 75 hundredths ounces, and I'm going to split it equally among 5 people. So I know that's going to be division. Okay, so let's work it out. Okay, 5 doesn't go into 4, but it goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Bring down the 7. This is 0. Bring down the 7. Okay, have my decimal up here. 5 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring down the 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, it looks like I have each person is going to receive 8 and 15 hundredths ounces. Cookies, right? Very good. Okay, looks like we're at the end of our homework 3.3. Okay, number 10. It says, what is the value of -3 plus 4.5 minus a -1.2? So it looks like I've got a bunch of numbers. Some of them are integers, some of them are decimals. Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay, so I rewrote it. So let's take this problem in pieces. Okay, let's take it in pieces. So I'm going to do this section first. Okay, so -3 plus 4.5. Well, if I go to the number line and I go back to -3, and then I count my spaces back up to 0, that's 3. And then I have to go 4.5, which is 1.5 more. I think my answer is going to be 1.5. So let's see. I know if the numbers are different, I got 1 positive and 1 negative. So I can subtract the numbers. Okay, 4.5 minus 3 is going to give me 1.5 positive. Okay, that 4.5 is more. I have -3. When it's positive, is more than a negative. You take the sign of the larger one. So I have 1.5 here. So now I have 1.5. Bring down the rest. Minus -1.2. Okay, now. It looks like I have the negative subtracting again, or subtraction of a negative again. I'm going to do the strategy, KCC, keep the 1.5, change this to addition, change the opposite. So the opposite of -1.2 is +1.2. And when I add those two together, 1.5 plus 1.2, I get 2.7. Very good. Well, guys, it looks like we finished all of homework 3.3. If you have any questions, you can ask me. If you don't need to do some of the problems that we did, you just skip to the ones that we already completed, and you'll be finished. Okay, we'll see you next time when we do the next homework. Thanks, guys.